Friends, welcome to my channel. Before listening to this story, I will ask you to like and subscribe. It's not difficult for you, but it's nice for me, and we're starting. I'm a simple guy. He is small in height, 1.75 meters. I'm not fat, but I'm not thin either. I train a lot, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm not a handsome guy, and I'll never be one. Besides, I'm not rich or famous. I have a good job and a good salary, but there is not the slightest chance of ever becoming damn rich. My reproductive organ is medium-sized. I'm not a freak, but I'm not a model either. I don't have scars, lameness, or bad breath. I'm fine, but there's nothing outstanding about me. I'm just some guy. You probably know a lot of people like me. About the same applies to my wife, Annette. She's not that unpleasant to look at least not through my eyes, but she's certainly not a very pretty girl either. She has a wide ass and flat breasts, but I love her the way she is. I am happy and satisfied with our relationship. Sometimes I even think it's better that we're both so unremarkable. It's easy to fall in love with an exceptionally handsome man. The problem is that you fall in love with the cover, not the content. If you are as inconspicuous as we are, then your love is probably something more substantial. To love an ordinary person means to love a person. Of course, almost every guy thinks that. For example, Angelina Jolie is great. In this case, I am an exception, but probably 99% of people of my gender think so. If you have a less outstanding example of a woman, then I get the impression that opinions differ much more. Someone likes this type. Someone likes this type. Men's opinions seem to differ much more than with regard to the stunning beauty. It's the same with my Annette. While I like to look at her, most of my buddies seem to find her rather unattractive. It's okay for me. I married her for myself, not to brag about her. I even relaxed a little when I found out that there is no big competition, and that she is really mine. Some of my friends even dared to warn me that I was underestimating myself, and that I could have a much prettier baby. I seriously doubted it. But even so, what difference does it make? Even if I was 6 out of 10 and she was 5, should I leave her and try to replace her with a 6? How shallow is this thinking? And as I said, it's all in the eye of the beholder anyway. Now, would I say that everything is perfect with my Annette? No, of course not. An ideal life is like a mathematical limit case, which does not happen in real life. The fly in the ointment in our case was the so-called women's group. Now, of course, you expect to hear about some kind of underground secret circle of evil women hatching plans to destroy the men around them, or about a group of wild chicks walking around bars and looking for a short-term love release. Again, it's completely wrong. It's hard to believe, but we husbands were even invited to participate in it. Now imagine 8 women gossiping at full speed, demonstrating their multitasking abilities by having 2 or 3 conversations at the same time. Keep in mind that none of these conversations make any sense. Imagine 2 or 3 single men sitting between them, wondering what their wives were talking about at all, unable to get a word in, and even if they understood, they would have nothing to share or interest. Imagine that you endure this for 3 or 4 hours, listening, without receiving a single piece of information for which it would be worth sacrificing even the slightest effort of the brain. As a result, you begin to regret that you did not undergo root treatment instead. Needless to say, all of this turned into an exclusively feminine event in the blink of an eye. While women have been best friends since time immemorial, we guys barely knew each other. Of course, our loving spouses suggested that we spend some time together while they discuss important things. But soon this also came to naught. I soon chose to spend time at home and was quite satisfied with this, deciding never to attend such painful meetings again in my life. They always met in one of the wives' houses, and it was good that ours was one of the most modest. Therefore, they rarely gathered here, and this is for the best. They never met in bars, went dancing, or anything like that. Everything was very harmless in every way. Sometimes I asked myself how they could come up with new topics for conversation, but this was not my problem, and although I witnessed their meetings, I got the impression that this was not a problem at all. The positive thing was that Annette was usually at home around 8 o'clock, which gave us some time to spend together. That Friday, she returned home in an even better mood than usual. Meeting her friends seemed to do her good, and I was very happy about it. Darling, the girls and I always talk about everything. Of course. She seemed unsure, and it was unusual for her to start a conversation with such an empty phrase. I had a distinct feeling that a lot of shit was going to follow. Sometimes we come up with the strangest things. Okay. Was something more meaningful expected of me? Probably not. I could safely assume that open ears were all that was required of me at that moment. She'll tell you what's going on soon. Of course, I was not going to disagree with this last statement since it exactly corresponded to my own impressions. You know, we started some kind of game. Most of us are just homemaker wives, and our lives can be a little boring. So we decided to spice it up a bit. Just some harmless fun for a bunch of bored housewives, you know? She winked and looked pleased, but I had an unpleasant feeling about it. She was preparing me not just for a small bucket of shit, but for a whole truck of it. It was all Angela's idea, but we all agreed that it would be such a pleasant experience. Come on, Frank, don't look so sour. You're really going to like this. Okay, but I wasn't so sure. The feeling of fear wouldn't leave my head. It's just a game. You see, the rules are simple. She was already very excited, but obviously didn't know how to get to the point. Each one, no. Frank, I know there are real beauties in our group. Well, I don't know. Of course, some of them are nothing, but I only love you. After several years as a husband, you just know how to navigate a minefield disguised as simple questions. You should know better, kid. Anyway, I think every man alive thinks that at least Bea, Tina, and Angela are damn beautiful. Carla and Nina aren't that bad either, don't you think? Annette, where exactly are you going? Why does she praise the attractiveness of her friends? This could not lead to anything good, and accordingly, my voice became a little tougher, in proportion to my gloomy mood. She was obviously trying to sell me something that I wouldn't like. Anyway, we have such an idea. It's kind of crazy, you know? Well, we thought that every husband would be able to spend 3 wild nights with someone other than his wife. He can choose one of the girls in our group for each night. Of course, he can also choose the same girl 2 or 3 times. Annette, what are you getting at? I interrupted her roughly. I was just going to tell you, she explained patiently. You can make love to 3 hot women. And what is the price? What? She looked almost indignant. What's the price? You're not going to offer me 3 nights of hot love with other women without getting something you want out of it yourself. I had already guessed what this would lead to, but decided to let her explain everything. Yes, Bea, Tina, and Angela were admittedly quite hot, but their husbands weren't chopped liver either. Why would they want to spend the night with plain old Frank? I already guessed that this would lead to some kind of idiotic wife swap. It turned out that I was wrong. Things were even worse. Frank, Bea met a guy. He seems to be working as some kind of dancer. A stripper. Normally I would find it funny, but not in this case. Well, yes, all right. If you want to put it that way, then yes. She saw me frown. But he's not some brainless guy, you know? He's actually quite charming. I think you'll like him, she added hastily, as if that made a difference. So you want to make love to this handsome guy 3 times? And to calm me down, can I spend 3 times with one of your friends? I made a wild guess. Once. What? I'm only going to make love to Mario once, she said in a rather timid voice. What? It doesn't mean anything. It will be like playing sports. It can't be. You see, it's a good deal. You get 3 times and I get only 1. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Wait a minute. Suddenly a terrible idea came to my mind. Am I the first husband to receive such an offer? What? No. Why are you asking? Paul and Tom have already agreed. Paul chose 2 nights with Bea and 1 with Tina. Tom also wanted to spend 1 night with Bea, Tina, and Angela. By the way, they both seemed quite happy with the conditions. In fact, they were very happy. She looked quite confident again. Have they had these wild nights yet? Yes. Why are you so upset about this? Let me think. Will I have the opportunity to choose from all the women in your group? Yes. She looked quite pleased, somehow managing to ignore my stern face. How are Tom and Paul? Of course, they chose... so they didn't choose you? No, not me. She felt that trouble was ahead of her. But you offered yourself to them? Well, yes, technically I did it. She finally understood what was going on. But there was nothing, she added hastily. It doesn't matter even if it were. So far it was just a crazy idea that I could discard before something went wrong. But what you just told me gives everything a whole new quality. Frank, what's the problem? Nothing happened, I swear. But I could tell by her face that she knew exactly what the problem was. My forever loving wife offered 2 men the opportunity to make love to her. That's the problem, I replied rather angrily. Frank, don't be silly. There are 5 really hot women among us. The chance that I would be chosen was almost 0. The probability that at least some man with eyes would choose me in any case tended to 0. Relax, okay? I hated it when she acted like that. I think you underestimate yourself a little bit, but that's not the point. That would be blatant treason. The offer itself is unacceptable. Yes, I understand what you mean. Frank, I didn't expect you to give up on all this. I was absolutely sure that you would jump at the opportunity to do this. And in this case, even the remote possibility that something might have happened didn't matter. It's not like that. Now I understand. There was a long, awkward silence between us. And would you do that? I finally asked. Yes, she replied meekly. I would have to. I'm sorry. I misjudged your reaction. Damn it. I was so disappointed that I was speechless for a few seconds. Then something else occurred to me. I take it you've seen this guy before, Mario? Yes, she was barely audible now. Did you like him? Did you like it? No, I don't even really know him. Okay, he's charming, but he's probably completely unattractive and arrogant if you get to know him better. She was clearly trying unsuccessfully to calm me down. But, yes, but... She took a deep breath. For some reason, that sigh irritated me more than anything in the world. It reminded me of a teenager in love. But he wouldn't have gotten the job if he was a freak, would he? No, probably not, I replied shortly. You see, it would be like a quick tinkering with a hot-looking inflatable doll. So he's completely incredibly hot. Well, that's how it should be if he's able to manipulate women like Bea or Angela, who have pretty handsome husbands in this way. Yes, she said in a barely audible voice. Tall? She nodded silently. Muscular? Does it look good? Charming? I was talking louder and louder with every word. She pulled away from me and didn't answer, but I realized that it was all true. Damn her and her group of girls. We sat in silence, both clearly not knowing how to proceed. After a while, a little bit of calm returned to me. So, let me summarize. My beloved wife sees this totally hot stripper and offers her body to two men for the opportunity to make love to him. Is that true? Frank, no, that's not the point. It's completely taken out of context. But it's a fact, right? The rest are just ideas based on the assumption that I will agree with this crazy scheme. Well, if that's how you see it, sorry. But it wasn't planned that way. We didn't expect one of the husbands to turn it down. The offer is too good. I still can't get over it. I mean, you'll get 3 in my one night. And again, I interrupted her. The number doesn't matter, Annette. Loyalty is not something that is traded in the bazaar. I don't want to make love to someone else, and I don't want you to do it. The end of the story. Okay, I understand. I understand that now. I'm just glad nothing's happened yet. Besides the fact that you are in love with some guy, plan to make love to him and offer your body to other men. Well, yes, but in fact there was nothing. I don't know. It's not easy to digest. Right now I don't feel like I can really trust you. I understand. Frank, I'm really sorry. Although it would be nice to have a little fun with Mario, I don't need anything. I only need you. Now I see where I was wrong, and I won't do anything like that behind your back anymore. I promise. I believed her, but I wasn't going to let her off the hook so easily. I wanted revenge. Come on, I'll show you how much I need you. Call me weak, but I let her take me to the bedroom. And God, I got my pay. Then in high spirits, I decided to forgive her. She was probably pushed to do this by her friends, and she miscalculated the situation. And, after all, nothing really happened, right? A few weeks later, I was very, very surprised at the direction our conversation was heading. I expected this stupid plan to be as dead as the steak I was going to eat later, but it seems I was wrong. After our crisis, 2 women's private meetings were held. Frank? Yes? Don't be angry, please. Just don't, okay? I've already guessed where it leads. Frank, the girls are very unhappy with your refusal. Girls' satisfaction is not my problem. Is it okay if they visit us? No, it's not worth it. I don't have the slightest desire for a bunch of women to cover me with sand, trying to drag me into their stupid plan. At least talk to them, okay? No, I'm not interested in that. I won't win anything. I was interrupted by the doorbell. Damn it, they're early. What? Don't be angry, I expected you to at least be open to talking about it. It's just wonderful. And why did you even bother to ask me that? Frank, don't get all worked up, okay? I decided to keep silent, hide my anger, and wait for the upcoming joint attack. And what kind of attack was it? Come on, we'll be so kind to you. You're ruining our game. We can't go on now, and we can't leave it half-finished. Take a look at what we have to offer, okay? Come on, get it together. A bunch of hot ladies are offering themselves to you, etc. In just a few minutes, most of them were topless. Some were about to strip completely. I can't say that the sight was unpleasant, but their attempt to convince me was as rude as it was doomed to failure. Come on, here's a free sample for you. Just play with me, okay? No. Why? Are you a fool? No, I'm not a fool, I'm married. And this means that I will remain faithful to my wife. Come on, it's sweet, but if you both agree, it's not cheating. But I don't agree. Fortunately, Annette remained silent throughout the action. I was glad that she didn't side with them and didn't participate in the campaign. Come on, we're going to have to stop the whole game if you're not on board. We will not be able to offer the entire group of girls to the remaining husbands. Annette has already offered herself to Paul and Tom. We can't treat other husbands any differently. It's not fair. Bea and Tina's husbands have already paid their debts. We must let them receive the full reward. It's not my problem. Oh, come on. You can't be that stubborn. I'm sorry, but it seems that's exactly what I am. You're ruining the whole game. Bea and Tina will become cheaters if we have to stop. At least Paul has already received his payment. Comfort them however you want. Suggest the remaining group. That should be enough. But I'm not going to participate. You don't really need Annette. There are a lot of women to choose from. We know that at least one hubby has always liked Annette. We can't deny him that. That surprised me. Annette, did you know about this? This contradicted her claim that she would not be elected anyway. She looked very surprised. No, I didn't know. For some reason, I doubted their little story. For the sake of rewarding other husbands, they didn't need Annette. They could have continued their stupid game without us, but somehow they clearly needed Annette and me to participate. I just couldn't figure out why. Interesting. However, you can stop now, ladies, and get dressed again. Go ahead with your little plan without Annette and me. I think that shouldn't be a problem. They all dressed reluctantly, and their expressions changed from disappointed to downright angry. It's not over yet, Frank. You'll see, Angela said almost threateningly. I know it sounds funny, but I knew her, and I also knew that she wouldn't stop until she got what she wanted. For all her beauty, she was almost unbearably self-confident and stubborn. Fortunately, with these parting words, the whole group left. Can we have dinner at a restaurant? I asked as if nothing had happened. That would be wonderful, Annette replied in the same tone. She may be easy to manipulate, but she has a great sense of humor. I realized again how much I love her despite this stupid episode. When I left my office building a few days later, Angela stopped me before I could get to my car. Angela. I was not at all happy to meet her, and my tone showed it. Of course, she did not understand and did not worry about such subtleties. Frank, you really have to be reasonable, she began without further ado. Why? Why is this so damn important? Can't you just continue without Annette? No, otherwise the rest will turn out to be cheaters. There's more to it than that, isn't there? Well, why not? In fact, this also applies to Mario. He's clearly out of our league, even outside of Bea's and my league. So why is he doing this? He has his own fetish. Yes? He likes, please don't get me wrong. He prefers to make love to married women. Has he already met all the women in your group? Yes, we all met with him. And he insists that everyone go through it, right? Yes, this is his adamant condition. Let me guess, does he also want to meet his husband someday? She seemed slightly surprised. Well, we planned some kind of party at the end to celebrate this event. Why are you asking? Angela, his fetish is cuckolding, you know that, right? What? He likes to humiliate married men. That's why he wants to meet us at the end. That's why he insists on having all women without exception. That's why he's threatening to cancel it all if Annette doesn't get involved. He won't like that I'm going to be at a party without horns. I think he'll take it as a kind of personal defeat. This is just ridiculous. But at least she seemed thoughtful. Don't count on me, okay? Frank, I'm really going to make it worth your time. She tried to sound seductive, but it was as sincere as a smiling shark. Why? Frank, he's incredibly handsome. Wait. She took a photo out of her purse. The guy was very muscular and handsome, I had to give him credit. But it was only his arrogant grin that immediately made me dislike him. Now do you understand why this is so important? To be honest, I didn't understand. This is our only chance in life to make love to a guy like him. He is what every woman dreams of. So all wives will spend one night with the man of their dreams. That's right. At the very end, after all the husbands receive their reward. And after that, the women will have to spend the rest of their lives with their bastard husbands? What? It took her a little by surprise, but she recovered quickly. No, you don't understand. I don't understand. I understand that you are systematically destroying marriages here. Are you really sure that after that, everyone will be happy to stay with their spouses? All women will have this handsome man with whom they can compare their husbands, and husbands will have the opportunity to compare their wives with several other women. How many whole marriages do you expect to find after that? Well, it worked pretty well twice. It seems like you're just too insecure for that. Other husbands didn't have your worries. Angela, Paul, Carla, and Tom seem to be happy. Maybe they don't care what their wives think of them. Call me weak, but that's what I am. I'll worry that she'll keep thinking about her wild night with a guy I can't compete with. The ghost of this silly game will remain in the background throughout our marriage. That's nonsense, Frank. It's just an adventure, no emotions. It'll just make everything come alive. She loves you. You will easily stay in the first place. My answer is still no. The risk is high, while I just don't see the benefit. I don't want to make love to another woman anyway, and I don't want Annette to make love to another man. We're married, and that means something to me. Frank, your behavior could ruin the marriages here. Some husbands have already had adventures, while others have not. We need to balance the scales, otherwise everything will collapse. And he just refuses to continue unless Annette is turned on. Several other wives refuse to change partners unless they have experience with Mario. If you get scared, everything goes to hell. That's your problem. I think this whole shitty thing came down to a fight between me and that idiot Mario. He wants to ruin my marriage for his own amusement, and I want to keep what's left of him. Frank, please be reasonable. You're making a big deal out of a molehill. Frank, I'm begging you. He hasn't been to my place yet, but I need it. Frank, I need to experience this at least once. Please don't let me down. It has become a kind of obsession for us. It will be a one-off for Annette, I promise. I know, he's not interested in you or other women. A one-time love with every woman is enough to achieve what he wants, namely to cuckold us husbands. You and even love are just a means and an end for him. Yes, but it's good, isn't it? He will not pose a threat to our marriages. No chance of a repeat performance. Forget about it. You've already admitted that it's become an obsession for you, and yet you want to convince me that it's completely insignificant for Annette and my marriage. You have to make a decision. What is it really? Okay, I understand. I tried my best, Frank. I really tried. But don't think it's over, Frank. This is far from the end. Her voice sounded almost threatening, but I couldn't imagine how she could get me to agree. We just had a delicious dinner and planned to just mindlessly stare at the screen for a while. As I walked, Annette tried to stay close to me, and I was glad that she did that and supported me a little, because I suddenly felt dizzy. I opened my eyes and saw a wooden ceiling. It was strange. We didn't have a wooden ceiling. I've never seen this ceiling before, I thought, examining the details of the wooden structure with calm interest. There are very strange lines there. Hey, they look like a face. Why is my mouth so dry? I still felt very tired. Quite a strong desire to close my eyes again. It's unrealistic. Who is it? A pleasant female voice, but it doesn't sound familiar. It's just unrealistic. I didn't sign up for this kind of shit. What? Who? I was still a little stunned. Where am I? How did you get here? Who is this obviously quite attractive woman? You have no idea about anything, do you? It seemed to me that she had long, wavy, and dark hair, which I liked. She was as beautiful as Angela or Bea, maybe even more so. But what really struck me was that she somehow exuded class and elegance. Damn. That's not what I was told, which for some reason didn't reflect on her rather mundane use of language. She seemed slightly agitated. I tried again, still not understanding anything. I don't know exactly where we are. We're in some kind of hut. I was brought here, and it took forever. It seems that we are surrounded by a huge forest. I didn't want to do it anyway, it seemed too risky. But these ladies persuaded me, saying that the client is a really good guy. If the money wasn't so damn good, I'd say no. Money? Oh shit. You don't know anything, do you? To be honest, I don't really get it. Okay, how do I explain this? It's just weird. I hope that I won't get into any trouble because of this. Just start from the beginning, okay? By this time, I was fully awake and really wanted to hear what had happened to me. Okay. Simply put, I am a high-class escort girl. It was hard to believe she definitely had the right appearance for it. The ladies have come to hire me. 4, to be more precise. They came up with a job that I should have given up on. I was told about a lonely, sweet, and even cute guy who spends a week in a remote hut, just relaxing and enjoying himself. and they wanted to top it all off by sending me there to help him relax and enjoy life. It's dangerous for a woman in my profession to do something like that. If any man had asked for it, I would have immediately refused. But 4 women? It seemed unlikely that some kind of rapist or murderer was hiding in the woods. One of them even claimed that she was the client's wife. Oh, I see. Straight brown shoulder-length hair. That's right. A bit like a mouse, isn't it? What? Don't be offended, but you're not in her league at all. Well, I love her. And this is the most important thing. I was still a little angry at those who make such comments about Annette. Everyone seemed to want to compare her to me or humiliate her. Well, at least I used to. It's a little complicated. Oh shit, I don't know. So your wife actually hired me to spend a week with you? It looks like it. My wife knows that I have a vacation this week, and somehow I ended up here. Damn, I think she drugged me with illegal substances to get me here. Yes, I guessed that. When I arrived, you were almost passed out. So they hired you and brought you here? Yes. I know it sounds crazy, but I was paid awfully good money for this job, and I thought I could work out a little bit when we're not making love. To study? Yes, I am getting a higher education. I haven't had much time to work lately because I had to study for exams. That's why I needed the money even more urgently than usual. And this job seemed perfect. A week of combining study and earning money. Some kind of lucrative goodbye kiss from my old profession. That's why I took it up. Damn me. Why? Am I really that disgusting? Oh no, not at all. I'm just afraid that someone will get into trouble soon. I mean, you've been drugged with illegal substances and you're here against your will. Someone is really going to get into trouble soon, but it won't be you. I'm glad to hear it. Now come on. What? Tell me your story. I have a feeling it's going to be quite interesting. Oh, that. Yes, interesting is the right word. Too interesting for my taste. It sounded as bitter as I felt, so I told her about Annette's game, about her desperate need to make love to this handsome man, about their failed attempts to convince me. When I finished my sad story, she was sitting with a surprised expression on her face. Really? I've seen these women. Some of them are not exactly ugly. Not at all, but what does it matter? I would say that they are much better than your wife. Damn, and why does everyone keep annoying me with such shit? I don't like to compare people, especially my wife. And yet you refuse to accept their offer. Of course, what good would come of it? She would break our wedding vows. I would break them. We would both make love with other partners. We would always compare our most intimate moments with what we experienced with others. Our marriage would be tainted in some way. Wow. Wow. You are what everyone is talking about. Excuse me? You're one of the really good guys. It seems that such people actually exist, and now I've even met one of them. Wow. What? What is she talking about? I'm just a normal guy. Anyway, what's going to happen now that we're here? Can't we get out of here somehow? I need to have a serious talk with my wife. We don't have a car, that's for sure. And we are in the wilderness. Supplies for a week. Although I think I could use my mobile phone. Shit. It looks like they stole it. It seems to me that we have quite a lot of time to kill him. Yes. Well, if you don't want love, do you mind if I study a little? Not at all. How can I help you? Would you like to? Of course. She stared at me for a long time with an unreadable expression on her face. Then it suddenly unfrozen. Wait, they asked me to show you this message in case you don't want to make love to me. Oh no. I had a bad feeling about this. I have a very bad feeling about this. I was afraid that I would get a set of photos of her making love to this Mario guy to motivate me to make love to this woman. Fortunately, it was a simple note. Have fun, darling. Remember, this is just a game, some kind of harmless entertainment without any emotions. Just enjoy your time with her. I only love you, no matter what you decide to do. If you refuse to make love to her, we'll give up everything. I won't do anything stupid without your consent. Damn it. Although I should have felt relieved, this message reminded me again of what had happened up to this point. My wife tried to get me to do swing, even drugged me with illegal substances and provided a girl to convince me to take the first step. This was not what my wife was supposed to do. Marriage shouldn't be like this. Will you be there? What is it? She asked, deliberately not understanding me. What? No thanks. So what about your studies? I needed a distraction, so I spent the morning testing her knowledge. Considering the circumstances, we even had a good time. We spent the next few days doing the following: thinking about a marriage in trouble, studying, cooking, walking in the woods, moping, looking incredibly beautiful, being depressed, sitting in front of the fireplace and talking about everything in the world. Of course, we both didn't do all that. The week was almost over. We knew that a group of crooks was going to pick us up in about an hour. We sat on the veranda, drinking the last cup of coffee in friendly silence. "By the way, my name is Lisa. Frank, nice to meet you." "Me too." We didn't exchange another word until the car pulled up. My worried wife literally ran up to the place where I was standing, holding out her hands in anticipation. It's Sunday morning. My mood is relaxed after a very pleasant night of making love with my wife. The sad events surrounding this silly game have mostly been forgotten. From the very beginning, the idea was crazy. Annette clearly saw the mistakes in her actions, and I must say that I am completely done with it. Yes, I can honestly say that I absolutely forgave her. It wasn't easy, but I had outside help, and I look back at her without holding a grudge. Of course, it helped that she never actually made love to this Mario guy. Hey, when I think about it, most of the time I even have to smile. In the end, it didn't hurt me at all, and I think my marriage is even stronger now. In fact, it is much stronger. My wife, still half asleep, shuffles into the kitchen. "Coffee, dear?" She nods silently, and I hand her the mug to bring her back to the world of the living. "Pretty wild night, huh?" "Yes, I have a pretty wild wife." "You're not an empty place either, mister." Lisa playfully punches me. We're both smiling. Everything is fine in the world. "I love you, Frank. I love you too."